possession of the game for Kevin Glenn and company. Shut out last week in the second half of their loss against the Alouettes. And DeAndre Cobb, who ran so well last year against the Lions, 267 yards in 2 regular season starts, just 2 on his first carry of the night.
When I mentioned that game against Montreal, Kevin Glenn, 159 passing, a season low for him, completed just 41% of his passes. There's receiving core, the leading receiver in the Canadian Football League in Arland Bruce in that slot back position. And then the offensive line, second game back for Jason Jimenez, the former BC Lion.
2nd and 8, 3-man front for BC. And Glenn looks for Dave Stalo with the catch, and he'll turn it back inside, gets punished by Solomon Elimimian, but has a first down on his 50th catch of the year.
Well, you've got to admire the courage of Dave Stalo to head into that part of the field when he had first down yardage after the catch. Right when he catches the ball, he's right at the stick. Now, if he just steps out of bounds there, they move the chains. He's going right into that danger zone, and here comes Elimimian.
Corey Boyd cut back inside last week and found out that wasn't a good idea against the active Lion middle linebacker. At the 46, a first down. Went on a roll, and under the flat, the ball was caught by Marquay McDaniel, brought down quickly by Stanley Franks.
Big game in the defensive line for Jonathan Brown. 3 games played as a BC Lion. This will be his 4th. Had 3 sacks versus the Toronto Argonauts. There's the linebacking core. Corey Banks, the playmaker back there. 3 fumble recoveries, 1 interception. And Dante Marsh, a couple of interceptions last 3 games on the corner.
Starting lineups are brought to you by Rona, proud sponsor of the CFL. Rona doing it right. 5 for McDaniel, 2nd and 5. And Arland Bruce has his first catch of another Ticat first down at the Lion 40-yard line.
Arland Bruce recognizes that Corey Banks is going on the blitz, and when he sees Corey Banks, you see where his attention is, to that linebacking court. Now he's got to get himself to the middle because he knows the next linebacker inside is Solomon Elimimian, and he's way too far to get there to knock it down. He just had to get inside position, and he fights to it.
18 for Bruce, closing in on another 1,000-yard season. Ticats lead the league in first possession touchdowns with 3. Looking sharp so far here. There's Maurice Mann with a catch in front of Dante Marsh, rolling out at the 34. Mann, who tweeted this week that he wants the football more.
Yeah, he tweeted basically that he wasn't being used, trying to sort of vent with his fans. And I talked to Marcel Belfait, the head coach, about it, asked him what he thought of it, and he said, you know, it's not a big deal, that he's been a model citizen in the locker room. He knew he had a little bit of a reputation from his days in Edmonton, not so as a Ticat.
7 for Mann, 2nd and 3. Time for Glenn, underneath it goes, and that's a completion. And a great move on the play as another first down for the Hamilton Tiger Cats on the catch by Maurice Mann.
Boy, that is one way to get your wide receiver involved when you run him on the crossing routes like this. And Kevin Glenn's just going to wait for Maurice Mann to clear through the linebacking core. Now, how about this move in the open field? He puts on the brakes. Elimimian runs right by him. That was an issue for Elimimian early in the season.
Kevin Glenn had 11 completions last week. He's 5 for 5 out of the gate. There's another one. Chris Bauman is cut down on the play by Dante Marsh, and a late flag comes out.
Jason Jimenez went out, looked like he was working on Brent Johnson.
Flag came late.
Well, you know Jason Jimenez is going to be fired up to play against his former team and
Major
his former
foul.
coach.
Unnecessary roughness. Hamilton, number 60. The penalty is applied from the end of the play. It's a 15-yard penalty and becomes 2nd down.
But I'll tell you something. There is no room in the game for this. Watch how he sneaks up from the side and rolls on Brent Johnson, going straight after that left knee.
12th.
Guy who had 16 major fouls in his rookie year, 2006, with the Lions.
Well, first, it hurts his team. Second, there's really no room in the game for a play like that.
Reggie Fish checks in for the Ticats on offense as they look for 2nd and 20. Underneath it goes DeAndre Cobb, and he's brought down at the 19-yard line. Again, Dante Marsh, the tackle, and because of the Jimenez penalty, the drive has stalled.
Boy, this play looked like it had enormous potential. Watch how it's going to clear out with DeAndre Cobb just sitting in behind the line of scrimmage. He looks like he's going to check blitz, and he is wide open. He turns and just heads up field. It's hard to believe that he doesn't get the first down. He kind of heads to his right, cuts back laterally, and is cut down.
Now there's Sandro DeAngelis, under 70% on the season. From 26 yards out. And DeAngelis puts it through. So the Ticats with 3 on their first possession of the game and the lead. Plenty of former Lion angles with the Tiger Cats, with more. Farhan Lalji's on the sidelines.
Yeah, Chris, you saw one former Lion, Jason Jimenez. Another one who's in the lineup tonight is Jeremy Gibbs. Now, he was cut by the Lions earlier this season, and Wally Buono was very public in his criticism, saying that he was undisciplined. After that, this week, he called him very immature, and that's one of the reasons why he got rid of him. At the time, Gibbs thought he was being made a scapegoat for the Lions' problems. He didn't want to talk about the issue right now, but a couple of his teammates said that he is highly motivated to make a statement on the heels of Buono's statements.
Too many penalties, according to the coach. 3 fights in training camp. Jeremy Gibbs arrived in Vancouver in a nasty mood and then had to depart. Andrew Harris, the special team player of the week, gets to the 30-yard line, driven back, a flag on the turf. Boy, Andrew Harris had a good game against the Argos. 162 kick return yards in the game. But a holding call on this return.
Holding on the return. BC number 47. It's a 10-yard penalty, and it'll become first down.
And that's been a familiar refrain on returns for Wally Buono's crew this year.
Well, it has. It's up around that 70% mark of penalties on returns.
And they opted for a return instead of taking the ball on the 35, so it's a loss of 15 to start here as Casey Printers in trouble, ducked away from Hickman, stays upright and flips it away. Wow, that's a spectacular loss of a yard. No, they'll check that. They'll get 5 on the play.
Yeah, he got it off to Jerome Messam, who's in tandem in the backfield tonight, as he was last game against Toronto with Giannis Davis. But here's a little bit of that old 2004 Printers magic as he just escapes what was a sure stack by DeMonte Bolden and gets himself in 2nd and manageable situation.
2nd and 6 from the pocket, drills the pass complete. And a first down as Paris Jackson starts to heat up, as does the Lions offense. Jackson with 3 catches early.
Yeah, and he is really starting to heat up, as you mentioned, Chris. He's going to come on the inside move here, a little work underneath off of Geroy Simon. His last 5 games, 20 catches. In his first 5, just 11.
Still looking for his first touchdown of the year, his first since last Halloween. Printers rolling, gets away from pressure. Here comes more. Downfield, and he threw it away at the Ticat bench.
One thing the BC Lion receivers understand with Casey Printers at quarterback is that the play is really not over until it's over. And what I mean by that is they have to continue to move to get open. Printers did not have an open receiver down the field there. He had 2 on the same side that he rolled to. It's going to be Otis Floyd who's going to chase him down. Secondary containment. And he'll put the hit on him after he throws it out of bounds.
Jeremy Gibbs with the first surge. That's the first incompletion of the game. The quarterback starting hot. 12 of 13 combined. More heat. Printers gets away. Looks downfield. It's Black, and he's got him. Stephen Black the catch at the Hamilton 37-yard line.
Well, I don't know how Casey Printers is pulling a rabbit out of his hat here, because this is fast break time. I mean, watch how quickly the Hamilton Tiger Cats are in the backfield. Forget about Steamboats. These are split seconds. DeMonte Bolden doesn't do anything real fancy, and he is clean. Somehow Printers escapes that, and rolling to his left will drop it over the shoulder of Stephen Black,
who got in behind Will Hayward, 38 yards. Printers to the newcomer Black in his third game in the Lion offense.
Timeout, BC.
And the Lions
had a personnel issue.
4, 6, 8, 10, 12, but not the right complement.
Yeah, they had 12, just not the right 12.
Casey Printers, of course, a 2-year Tiger Cat, 1-12 as a Hamilton quarterback.
1-12 in Hamilton, 17-12 in 29 starts with the BC Lions, going back to his first visit here, his MVP season.
So they try and get back on the same page here. 1st and 10 at the Ticat 37. Emmanuel Arsenault wide to the near side. And Printers looking for Simon, knocked down by the youngster, Ryan Hines. Pass interference against Hamilton.
Now this is the inexperience of a young Ryan Hines at corner, forced to play there. The injury to Jason Shivers, because
Pass interference. Hamilton number 34. First down, BC.
This ball was well overthrown, and it looked like Jeff Tisdale had the best shot at it. Really no reason for Ryan Hines to go ahead and run over Geroy Simon. A little bit of inexperience and panic as the ball is about to arrive.
And a 26-yard penalty. So the Lions with a first down at the 11. First stands in, throws, touchdown, Geroy Simon. His 5th touchdown of the season, the 89th touchdown reception of his career.
This is when you have Casey Printers, your middle linebacker. Watch 35 on this play. Otis Floyd, he's just going to stand and spy Printers. He's not really going to rush. He's not really going to cover. He's just trying to see if Printers escapes. He'll chase him down. That gives him lots of time in the pocket. And he finds Geroy Simon.
Callum adds the extra point. And the Lions regain the lead.